Welcome into the fall sports season finale of Inside Findlay Trojans Athletics here on FindlayTrojans.com and ESPN powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griefer. As always, Findlay Athletic Director Nate Weihrauch joining us here on the podcast. We also have a very special guest here today, boys soccer head coach Kevin Shanice, and we will be dedicating the second half of the program to him and what his team is doing and still doing as they are very much alive in the state tournament. Nate, let me start with you here first. We're putting a bow into the fall sports season. We're getting through it. We've had a lot of success on the year. One of the areas that necessarily doesn't get as much love in venues like this and outlets like this is your training staff, keeping all these student athletes healthy, prepared in all phases that they need to be prepared physically, mentally, emotionally, nutrition-wise, all of that kind of stuff. And I know you wanted to make a special mention of them because they do a really, really great job having to balance everything in the fall season.
Yeah. Yes, I think I can't thank Pat Feynman enough, and Ohio Orthopedic Institute of Ohio with Dr. Lane and Dr. Copeland. They do a fantastic job over there for us. And Pat he's a one-man guy, so he's doing all of our fall programs right now by himself. And he comes in at noon and stays until about 10 or 11 o'clock. So we truly appreciate him and all of the service.
Yeah, really great job they do. As you said, don't know who's going to come into the training room at any time from what sport, but nevertheless, they're always in there ready to go and keeping everybody as healthy as possible. And obviously, Coach Shanice can relate to that. And it was as physical as soccer is. I'm sure he's had kids in and out of there all semester long. Let's talk about your cross country teams now, as both teams are in the regional after second place finishes for both in the district. We're looking at the way things are setting up. You're going to go over to Tiffin for the regional at Hedges Boyer Park, which is only about 30 miles away from campus. So it's not a long trek to have to make. I'm curious from that perspective, how much that can help the team knowing they don't have a long bus ride to take. They can pretty much stay within their normal routines. And also from that perspective, how big that would be then if they were able to get out of the regional and advance on to state.
Yeah, that would be outstanding. We have, being so close to Hedges Boyer Park over in Tiffin, we know the course so well. We've been there many, many times, and we were blessed this past weekend. I tell you what, Coach Gleason called it one of his best coaching days he's ever had. He had, just for our girls, both the boys and the girls were district runner-ups, just missing out on the district championship. But on our girls' side, we had two career bests, and whether that be an Annie Traver and then Colette Seeger. And then we had 4 PRs on the day itself for just on the girls' side. So, extremely happy for both the boys and the girls. We had Adrian Stuckschulte, which on the boys' side finished 8th overall. And he's a dual sport child that actually with Kevin Shanice, he's a soccer player as well. So, did a tremendous job. Spencer Ben Smith, Ty Cordonier did an exceptional job. Preston Perkins and Christian Black. So we're truly thankful for Coach Gleason, the cross country team, and we'll certainly wish them the very best this coming week in regionals.
Both your golf teams had a nice showing in the postseason as well, making the districts and also finishing in the top 10 in scoring as teams there. So really strong accomplishments right there. Not enough to get the state, but nevertheless, not easy to finish in the top 10 in your district, let alone get to the district out of the sectional. Nick Fainer for the boys shot a 77 himself, only 2 shots shy of getting to state as an individual qualifier. He's going to be back next year to lead the way for the boys. So a bright future there for him for sure. How do you see each team going to work in the off season so that we can take that next step going into next year and maybe get to the top 2 or top 3 of the district and get into the state round?
Yeah, I was extremely, I was very pleased. The kids worked very hard this off season, and you take a look at districts with Nick, and we have 4 seniors. We graduate 4 seniors from the boys golf team, and then Abby on the girls side. So I'm hoping this off season really they work hard upstairs. We have a nice putting green upstairs for the kids, and they can hit in a hitting bay for those kids. Certainly go out to the country club, but certainly pleased with both our boys and our girls this past year on the golf side. That Shawnee Country Club is a heck of a course. So very narrow, very tight, a lot of trees, and I know I would have some difficulty there. So proud of those guys.
A lot of people would, but those kids do a great job of making it look a lot easier than it is. And as we said, not that far off from getting to the state meet, but that's what the off season's for. We'll see how that progresses going forward here. Volleyball saw its season end in the sectional with a 4-set loss to Clay. So we end the year with a record of 14-9. And I'm curious to know how tough this result was for the players, especially knowing they had played Clay early in the year and beat them. But this time Clay gets the better end of you. And then with that, how would you assess the state of the program and what you're going to lose and what you're going to have coming back going into next year?
Yeah, the girls were they were crushed. I mean, I think we all were. Clay, when we played them here, we won 3-1, but it was close. It was 25-22, 25-21, so forth. But it was pretty. The kids were pretty devastated and certainly understand. But hats off to them. They had an incredible season. We have 6 seniors. They're going to be tough to replace. Certainly, Ashley and Brianna and Alexis, Kelsey, Rachel, and Aubrey. I mean, we had some incredible seniors, and we just need to step up. We talked about golf in the off season, right? We need to do the same thing. We had an incredible off season this past year with Courtney. She was in her second year. 14 wins is phenomenal. But certainly like those kids last week, we'd like to have that sectional championship certainly. So just need to continue to work in the off season. We're certainly excited about our young kids, just like in girls golf, boys golf. We're certainly excited for our kids on the volleyball program come on up. So, our freshman team won a freshman invite at the end of the year here. So we're excited about that. JV record finish with 13 wins, I believe. So, we have some great talent come on up. It's just those kids getting in the gym, getting in that weight room, and certainly excited for everyone.
For the biggest thing there, the foundational pieces are there to build into the future, especially given what you're going to lose from a really strong senior class. Let's talk about your football team, and the beat goes on with the team. 2 big wins to finish the end of the season against St. John's Jesuit and Lima Senior. So we've won 5 in a row going into the playoffs. You get a 6th seed and a first-round date with Miamisburg coming up here. They've been kind of up and down on the year. So I'm curious from that perspective how the coaches feel about this matchup. And also, how do you feel about the way your offense has been performing as of late? Because they've been averaging about 42 points per game during this 5-game win streak.
Yeah, I mean, and as well, I mean, football comes down to 2 things. That's blocking and tackling. And, they're going to be going up against a wing T team. They have Miamisburg has a 6'4", 260-pound wide receiver, so we're going to have to be able to handle him. But offensively, we're doing a lot of good things. Certainly, we live in Northwest Ohio, right? So it's supposed to be high at 56 with an 80% chance of rain on Friday evening. So, certainly we got to be able to run the ball, be able to throw the ball, and I'm excited for the game. I'm excited for the kids. Excited for this community. And this will be the first time we're hosting a game here since 2005. And, I believe in the kids and the coach and staff. So looking forward to the contest.
That's football weather. Late October, 80% chance of rain, especially in Northwest Ohio. We're lucky it's the liquid type of precipitation, as we've seen that change at times over the years for sure. But best of luck to them, and hopefully some things break their way. Maybe make a nice run. Who knows? Maybe get all the way to a regional final or beyond. We'll just have to see how things play out there. Let's move on to soccer here. And before we bring in Coach Kevin Shanice here to talk about his team, let's talk about the girls first. They get a very interesting setup right now in the tournament as a sectional final coming up with a rematch against Ashland. You could get another rematch with Anthony Wayne in a district final should you take care of Ashland here first up. So I'm curious there how important it would be for the team to get by Ashland here and into the district final against an Anthony Wayne team who you're also very familiar with a very real shot to get to a regional.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge for us. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this would be the first time if we can get past Ashland. Ashland is a very, very good team, very talented. We were, unfortunately, on the losing end of a 2-1, victory, so to speak. But earlier in the year with Ashland. But if we could get by Ashland, I mean, it would be the first time since 2010 that we'd be in that district final contest. So it would be, for our girls soccer program, it would be huge for us.
And the opportunity there, as we said, also
Right.
Anthony Wayne, it's nice to have that familiarity. And so you know what you can improve on from the last time out, and trying to take out both those teams. So sets up nicely. It's interesting how the rematches play out so early in the playoffs there, but that's what indeed winds up being the case there for the girls. Kind of a similar story with the boys here now as we bring in boys soccer head coach Kevin Shanice. And first of all, Coach, we do appreciate your time here on the podcast. Earlier in the program, Nate mentioned that you have some cross-country kids who also play for you on the soccer team. So obviously cardio levels are very high for in that case. But I'm curious, as a coach, what's the biggest challenge when you have multi-sport athletes and trying to get them as ready for your team, but also understanding they also have runs to do for cross-country?
Yeah, for me, it's just kind of making sure you got to read each kid differently. Each kid's going to present fatigue a little bit different. And kind of see how it's affecting their body. With Adrian, we want to kind of be, and we talk to Coach Gleason all the time about what the workouts are, so we're not overtaxing him, and we kind of are able to, tailor that to our training with him throughout the year to make sure he's, healthy for me and healthy for them. And obviously, he had a great day on Saturday. We're proud of him. And as a freshman coming in, that's, tough sledding for a freshman to come in and run well and play so high in the district tournament.
So you've got that, getting him back now and for your team. And obviously, a very good start to the sectional, beating Fremont Ross 7-1. So the offense keeps rolling now. That's 16 goals in the last two games. You go back to the regular season finale, a 9-0 win over Lima Senior on the road, which is also nice given the fact that a lot of the time in the tournament, you're on the road. So we look at the way things shake out there. Andrew Alsop, just a hat trick, no big deal. Nick Simmermeyer, a goal and 2 assists as well. Kevin, let me start with you with this performance in the sectional opener. How important was it to get off to the strong start in the tournament offensively, to put a bunch of balls into the back of net so early in the tournament?
It's we are a team that likes to start fast. I always tell the kids I want to see a goal in the first 5 minutes as kind of a target. The sooner you can put a team behind, the more they have to dig, the more they have to fight, the more, opportunities it's going to present for yourself. And, it's always easy to play from a lead. It's hard to play from behind. So we always want to start fast. That's a conversation we have with our kids constantly. And, obviously being able to come out and have some success early, allows us to ease into the game, give my guys some time off where they're not grinding out an 80-minute game, keeps their legs fresher. Last year in the tournament, we had some games like that in the beginning of the year where we didn't have to grind guys 80 minutes and they were able to get some rest and, we're not as fatigued going to the next game because, we know we're playing the night and tomorrow night. And obviously if we win, we play Saturday. There's not a lot of turnaround time. So we want to make sure that our guys have peak performance at all times and as much energy as they possibly can give us.
Nate, what's it like for you from the sidelines, seeing the way they like to play, the way Coach Shanice likes to attack early, build that lead early, and also the fact that they have such a balanced team where seemingly anybody on a given night can put 2 or 3 into the back of the net? How tough does that make it on an opponent from your perspective?
Yeah, I think Coach Shanice said it best. He wants to put pressure on them. Scoring within the first 5-10 minutes is something that we certainly want to do. We have 12 seniors this year, so it is we're senior dominated, and so those kids have been in those situations and with experience. Hopefully that will help us out and continue to be aggressive. Throughout the tournament run.
Coach, with these 12 seniors, obviously that's a big class that's about ready to wind down their career here. What's it been like for you to work with them as time has gone on? And in particular, this year, their senior year, how have they evolved as leaders going forward and now to this point here in the tournament?
You always want your seniors to be the leaders of your group, whether it's off-season workouts, in-season workouts, you want them to be the group that everybody looks to for answers, confidence. You get in these tournament games where, you've got some younger players that are now getting into the fold and getting some minutes, and you want them to step up and show, hey, this is a big game, but this is what we need to do, and really be the leaders of your group. And, this group has been that, and they've had the fortune of, learning from guys in the past. I've got Andrew Alsop as a 4-year letter winner for me. So he's had this opportunity to learn from other guys, and, really take that leadership role, as a captain on our team this year. Him and Ryan Schittledecker, another captain, as well as Hayden Harris, really have done a nice job of stepping up, making sure guys are focused. Practices have been great, coming into the tournament and, the later part of the season. They've been focused, they've been energized. They're really, getting at each other, trying to make sure we're getting the best product we can, as we move forward. Because, at tournament time, it's you win, you go. If you don't, you're done. So there's no tomorrow. We preach that all year long, and those guys have really bought into that message and, want to get to the next game. They want to get to where they were last year.
You're going to see a very familiar team coming up here on Tuesday in the sectional final in Anthony Wayne. You took them on about a month ago, and they beat you 2-1. Your team has gone 4-1-2 since, so the turnaround has come there. So I'm just curious, first of all, with Anthony Wayne, what you've been able to see on tape from them as of late. How do you think your team matches up with them tactically, and what's going to be the biggest difference to turning things around and beating them this time after the 2-1 loss about a month ago?
Yeah, Anthony Wayne's always a solid team in our district. Their district championships and, regional appearances are no surprise for the boys' side, much like it is for the girls' side. They're comfortable being in this position. They'll be a formidable opponent tomorrow night. In the game we played them, we lost 2-1 at their place. We had a goal called back late in the game, which would have given us the tie. We missed some opportunities. Watching the matchup, there's definitely some areas that I feel like we can attack. Some mistakes that we made in that first game, I hope to not duplicate those same mistakes. Some marking issues that led to 2 goals. So hopefully we can clean up a few of those things and then, finish a few more of our chances. We had some chances in that game that we really didn't tuck away. And I think that's where that focus of the 5 minutes, scoring a goal and, some of the offense that we've seen later in the season has really been the emphasis to make sure that we're not missing those opportunities and we're cashing in as much as we can. And that's going to be important in this game tomorrow night, is getting a quick start against them. They're a younger team. They got some guys that are familiar with the tournament process, but they got some guys that aren't. And hopefully we can be that team that has that experience and shows them, hey, we're here for 80 minutes and we're going to, do what we got to do to win.
Nate, as I mentioned, the team has gone 4-1-2 since that loss to Anthony Wayne about a month ago. Are you seeing the same thing with Coach Shanice and the fact that this team, since that first matchup, has done a better job in finishing, putting more balls into the back of the net and finishing off those opportunities where they didn't necessarily do that in that Anthony Wayne match?
Yes, actually, I've been really seeing a lot of growth from the beginning of the year. I mean, Coach Shanice and I have talked about this, just from the beginning of the year to where we're at right now. And we've talked in weeks past about peaking, and hopefully we're peaking at the right time. And, I'm seeing those kids. I'm seeing that same mentality that I saw last year. We took our run last year and had an incredible season. And I'm seeing those same characteristics from that nature. Hopefully we can, like I say, continue. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a matchup come Tuesday. Maybe some wet conditions again here in Northwest Ohio, but we gotta stay aggressive. Everyone's got to go through it, and everyone's got to understand their roles, and hopefully we can come out on top.
So you get Anthony Wayne in a sectional final. And Nate, let me move on here to this next point with you. We look at the way the bracket's set up, and you're going to see if you get past Anthony Wayne, you're going to see a very, very familiar opponent in the district final. It's either going to be Sylvania Southview or Northview, one of the two. They're on the other side of the bracket. The team has played both on the year and has tied both. Obviously, there are no ties at this point in the season. Does it, from your perspective on the outside, before I ask Coach Shanice this, does it matter to you if you get to that point who you would see in a district final, given that you've tied both already on the regular season?
No, I mean, I think Coach Shanice is probably the same way as, he knows probably more of some of the details and logistics with that on who he'd like to face. But, we had 5 ties this past year in our season. And I think, any coach would like to get any of those back and get that W, right? So, like I said, we got to be aggressive, and it's that time of year in the tournament where you win or go home. So, and certainly we want to be able to continue down that path of success.
Coach, obviously, I know you're not looking past Anthony Wayne here, but as we see these Sylvania Southview or Northview teams potentially in district final, as I said, you are familiar with both of them, and most recently Northview and 0-0 tie just a couple of weeks back. You played Southview in the season opener, and that was a 4-4 tie. So it was about as exciting as you could get, both offensively and defensively here. And Nate mentioned the point, you've had 5 ties on the season. What's going to be the biggest thing, not only in this first matchup against Wayne, but potentially in a district final, that you need to improve on so that you can put these games away, so that you can finish them off, and so you're not having to potentially worry about an overtime or eventually going to penalties?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Both teams, are completely different in what they bring to the table. So, depending upon which one is there, and obviously us advancing through tomorrow night, each one will be a little bit different, how we might attack it, what we might change, from game film. And obviously you mentioned it, Southview, we played our very first game. We're up 4-1 in that game. Only to come, have them come back in the second half and tie it up 4-4. But there was some learning moments in that game that we took away from that, and have continually improved. And then, obviously we saw Northview then game 15 in the season. So things have changed there. And you don't know who's going to be healthy from day to day from our team or their team. That might significantly change how you attack them or what you might do. Or, obviously knowing both of the opponents, and they've played us in game film, they might make some adjustments on their end as well. So, it's sorting through, how they're going to be, what they're going to do, what they might try to do to change some things. And, I could tell you that, like in that Northview game, there was some opportunities that I think they would have liked to have gotten back. So I don't doubt that they would make adjustments on their end, as well as Southview is going to do the same thing. They're both solid opponents, and they both have had great years. Southview obviously being the number 1 seeded in our district, has had a solid year. They only have 1 loss to Anthony Wayne at the end of the year, last game of the season. So they're hungry for an opportunity to play. So I think that will be a great game tomorrow. That game will be going on before our game tomorrow. So we'll know who that opponent will be. Whoever wins us against Anthony Wayne, we'll know who that opponent will be for Saturday.
Do you have a preference as to which team you would potentially see in the district final?
I don't, and I know all coaches say they don't really care who they do. It doesn't matter to me who we play. We're going to line up and, prepare to win against whoever it is. Our guys will be ready no matter who it is. It doesn't matter to me. They're both great coaches, great programs. Their kids are, solid players. And it doesn't matter to us who we play.
Lastly, before we wrap up the program here today, and again, we do appreciate both of you joining us here on the program. Nate, let me start with you. As we mentioned, 5 ties on the season, but still a 9-3-5 record. Pretty solid year all the way around. And given the fact that we have 12 seniors who are winding down their high school careers at Findlay, playing for Kevin Shanice, what has stood out to you about this team this year and the way they've gone through all the year with all the ebbs and flows to get to this point of a sectional final and potentially beyond?
We talked about it, from the beginning of the year to the end. I've really seen their maturity. I've seen their maturity. We got in some yellow cards at the beginning of the year, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing, the last 7-8 games, they've been focusing on what they need to focus on. And so I've seen their maturity, their focus, understanding their roles. Good things happen when you're first to the ball. All right, when you're hustling, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of, and that's what I've been proud to see from day one to where we are. Game 18 here. So,
Kevin, from your perspective, obviously working with the boys day in and day out, matches, training, discussions, all of that stuff that goes into building a successful program. Has there been 1 or 2 things that from the start of the year stood out to you, maybe caught you by surprise to this point in the season that's gotten you to the sectional final with the opportunity to get to 10 wins?
I think Nate hit it on the head, maturity, in adversity. We've run into a couple of injuries throughout the season where we've had to shuffle some guys around. and fill in for them. And it, we kind of have that mentality of next man up. And those guys have taken that seriously. We've got some guys playing positions that, normally at the beginning of the year, we wouldn't have had them playing. But that maturity, and then, the guys just stepping up and doing basically whatever it is they can to make the team better and successful. And at this time of the year, and with, so many seniors, and no one wants this to be their last game. They want to walk out with the championship at the end of the year. And, obviously only one team gets to do that. And I think that's been our goal all year, is to get further than we did last year, have some success, win some trophies, and walk out with our heads held high. We talk a lot about it at the high school, the legacy of the soccer program, and this is a part of that. In the tournament run, and what you're able to do is your legacy that you leave at the high school, and with this boys soccer program that's been so successful over the years. And the boys take that very seriously, and they want to make sure that they do their part to uphold the tradition and the legacy that we've had.
And they still have everything in front of them. As we said, a sectional final coming up on Tuesday against Anthony Wayne, and a potential district final coming up over the weekend against either Southview or Northview. Still a lot to be decided, but again, everything they want is still in front of them. And with that, we're going to wrap up the program here today. My thanks once again to boys soccer head coach Kevin Shanice and athletic director Nate Weihrauch joining us as we wrap up the fall season. Best of luck to the boys soccer program going forward. And I appreciate the time from everyone involved here joining us here on the Inside Findlay Trojans Athletics podcast here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.